Nigerian students studying under the Bilateral Education Agreement in foreign countries have decried the federal government's non-payment of their allowances. The students, who spoke under the auspices of the Union of Nigerian Bilateral Education Agreement Scholars, called on the Minister of Education, Dr. Yusuf Tunji Alausa, to review the government's stance on the payment of their stipends. According to them, the federal government owed each of them $6,720 for the years 2023 to 2024, in addition to unpaid stipends from January to April 2025. In a recent statement posted on X, the students accused the Ministry of Education of disseminating misleading information about their welfare. They rejected the ministry's claims that all previous payments had been settled and asserted that the host countries were not adequately addressing their needs. The assertions that host countries provide full accommodations and monthly stipends is simply false in many countries. In Morocco, for example, there is no government-provided housing. In Algeria, students get only $70 every 4 months. That's not a stipend, the statement reads. However, the government, through the Director of Press and Public Relations of the Ministry of Education, Boriwo Folashade, has assured the students and other stakeholders of its commitment to fulfilling its responsibilities. Please, quickly, Barrister Manki, I just want to get your thought on what you make of the situation. You're already smiling.
I'm smiling because it's a reflection of the priority of the government. You know, globality now. I think it was Nelson Mandela who said, if you want to change the future, think of education. That's the key. And any nation that toy with the proper education of its citizens is taking a risk because it will pay for it. I was reading a documentary. They said that is like an epitaph that is on the gate of a university in South Africa. Now, if you want to destroy the future, you don't need to drop nuclear bomb. That all you need to do is to tamper with the educational system. Lower the standard. They say you produce doctors that will kill people. You produce architects that will lead to collapsed building. It attached different things to different professions. You have lawyers who abuse law like we have in Nigeria. Attorney General who will turn the law upside down. You see people who are benchers who will turn around and boast how they have won 2027 election, but not talking about the credibility of the process. You know that we are heading in the wrong direction. So it's sad that the student, because for them to come out to complain, you notice, just like what we discussed last week about Abia State, that they are giving and they went out to draw the attention of OT. You know, they were covering it internally. Now that it appears, okay, let's tell his father. Do you understand? Let's bring it to the notice of the parents. Let's know if the parents are behind the misbehavior of their children. And in most cases, if they are parents that have integrity, they will come out and say, look, they are not behind such. The same thing here. For them to come out, you know, now it's nation to nation. For them to now come out and decry, it's a shame on the government. This same government.
Well, the government has also guaranteed them that the funds will be sent in accordance to their needs.
It ought not to. Look at what they are doing in this country. Okay, look at the present. Look at what the legislators are doing. They are toiling with our future.
What do you mean by the legislators are toiling with the future of the country?
Oh, turning to top majority vote into voice vote. You know what that means? Perhaps you don't. Okay, you are not a lawyer, I admit. But if you know the consequences of tampering with the law negatively.
Barrister Manki,
yes.
You know, in this instance,
yes.
We do not have time on our side. We're actually going deeper into this. I just want to make a final thought on this. These students were actually lamenting over this non-payment because they have not been given the allowances and all of that for a period of time.
Why?
But in that situation where you say it's a shame to the government, if the first off, the government actually sent the students to those countries, those foreign countries to study. The first step has been taken. You know, there's certain reasons that can also, I might not be there to actually know what the situation is that would have occurred in this instance. But for the Minister of Education to come up and speak over this thing and say that we are working towards that fund. So I feel that should also be seen as a move, that something is going to be done in that instance.
I cannot, because what you have said is equivalent to a man who impregnates the wife, and then there's a flagship of 9 months notice, and then on the eve of delivery you'll be running from pillar to post.
Well, Barrister Mikey, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And the legislators are not toiling with our future, if I may say that.
I would tell
thank you
and
so
they
much
know what they are doing.
on yourself for being here. Thank you. I appreciate your presence for being